Hello, everybody, and welcome to another devlog video. Today's video is going to be very exciting as I have an announcement to make. I had made a lot of progress on quite a few areas when, surprise, Godot 4.0 started entering rapid pre-releases. And as of right now, Godot 4.0 is in a stable release out in the wild, and of course I have it. Now, as you might expect, directly porting my game over from Godot 3.5 to Godot 4.0 goes as smoothly as throwing a carton of eggs at a brick wall. A number of things have changed, and a huge number of improvements have been made in Godot. This left me with a tough choice to make. Number one, continue with the game as planned in 3.5. This is also known as the safe way to handle things. No changes, same shortcomings I've been dealing with, everything continues as planned. After all, I'm about a year into this. Number two, rebuild a year's worth of game project in Godot 4.0. This would take a lot of time, but it would give me the sweet, sweet release of Godot 4.0's enhancements, such as the tileset system. For instance, in the current build, each room has 3 to 4 tileset nodes, one for the ground, one for things that go on the ground, one for things that go above the player, a separate one for water because it handles collisions differently. In Godot 4.0, tilesets support layers, along with a whole lot of other stuff. So everything could just be one tile set node, just one tile set. Don't have to use multiple tile sets to accomplish, a basic scene. And that's a pretty big deal for me. If I did switch to Godot 4.0, this would also give me the opportunity to address some other growing issues that I've discovered. The biggest of which isn't like a technical issue so much, but just the direction of the game. This was supposed to be a Zelda like, and it has nothing even remotely close to that besides the perspective. It was turning more and more to an actiony sort of game, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I found it slowly becoming more and more derivative of other games that I was taking reference from, and it really wasn't becoming anything other than a bad copy of some things other people have already done much better. And I really want to get back to trying to do what I originally set out to do. A couple other things that came up recently that have proven to be problematic for my development was the dialogue plugin that I was using. I was using Dialogic, which is a really great plugin for Godot, and it's great in its own right, really. It just didn't seem to fit the exact needs I had for my project as well, and I kind of found myself being a little sad that I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do, and it was always in the back of my mind that I needed to pull this out and redo it before I got too far into the process. The biggest pain point, however, was actually the inventory system I ended up using. It worked, sure, and I followed this really great series of tutorials on someone's YouTube channel, and it came together really well because I had no idea what I was doing. But this is only mouse and keyboard controlled, which would require a huge rewrite to get gamepad controls in, and making the game playable by a gamepad as well as mouse and keyboard was one of my goals for this project, and that made things a lot more difficult. But at a technical standpoint, there was one really big issue that I found with that inventory system, and that was that items were stored in dictionaries nested inside of a bigger dictionary, and that doesn't need to be that way. And it just added an extra layer of frustration when trying to format or insert or alter any of the item values in the nested dictionaries. Trust me, it was probably a bigger pain for me than it would have been from a normal person, but I would rather not deal with that. I suppose this is also a good time to add in that Godot 4.0 does feature the ability to edit JSON files from within the editor. It's kind of a nice extra point. And now for the verdict. But I think you know where this is going. I decided to start the project over in Godot 4.0. The added enhancements and features in the new game engine update are just things that I don't want to live without. And I can force myself to start over this way, which enables me to have that extra push I needed to find a different dialogue system, to make my own inventory system this time around. And a lot of the code that I used before for, world generation, etc., that stuff, it can be used again, though some of it needs to be slightly modified. And in case anybody was wondering, I did try to just import my project straight into Godot 4.0. It went very poorly. I could get the code out. There were a lot of files when I tried just to open them up in the editor, just straight up crashed like Godot entirely, just hard gone. So there was no salvaging that. But it's a good opportunity, and I'm choosing to look at it as so because I really want to take advantage of the new features in Godot 4.0, and so by golly, I am going to do it. Um, but most importantly, and I know this is truly what's the most important, the thing to talk about here is that even now, I still do not have a name for this game.